You can't just make a video in 2016 and say, hey everyone, I just want on out on natural. And you in fact are. And then the next day, hop on steroids, post videos, and never talk about it again. Coach Greg, in today's video, Connor Murphy takes on Derek from More Plates, More Dates. The video's titled, My Life as a Fake Natty, and throughout the video, he tries to prove to Derek that Derek had cherry-picked the photos to misrepresent him, that he actually was not a fake natty all along, and that he's always said exactly what he's taken. He says he's no longer natural, and he in fact details exactly what he's taken, including the newest SARM that he's added to his stack. So we're gonna watch the video together and see, do we agree with Connor Murphy or do we agree with Derek?
It all began in 2018 when the narrative spread that my physique was deteriorating. Now, don't confuse the time periods here. I'm not talking about the muscle I lost during my 40-day fast in 2020. I'm referring to the contrast in my physique from 2016 to 2018.
And so Derek presented evidence that the physique Connor possessed in 2016 had deteriorated dramatically, losing 10 to 15 pounds of muscle in only 2 years. And it was a result of the cessation of using anabolic steroids. And why would he do that? Because he was beginning to lose his hair. One of the known side effects of taking steroids is in fact a greatly reduced hairline, people losing their hair faster than last time. And that Connor couldn't simply go back on the steroids because that would again accelerate his hair loss.
That my loss of muscle was a mentally fabricated bandwagon of the online fitness community.
And so as you can see, in 2016 to 2018 here, he looks about the same. It doesn't appear that he lost 10 or 15 pounds of muscle. In fact, one could argue in 2018, he does in fact look a little bit bigger, although not quite as lean. And what we do know is that fitness YouTubers often show their physiques to be at their best levels, with the best lighting, with a pump, perhaps oil, and a tan, and a wide-angle lens. And even possibly Photoshop. And so if you take a photo while the guy is pumped up with the best angles with the best camera, and then compare it to a photo taken at a later date without being pumped, without the tan or the great lighting, then of course you're going to look small. And of course, I'm sipping on my hardcore pre-workout, about to do a bike race, and I've already taken GO2 Max.
Derek utilized a specific photo selection to grossly exaggerate the decline in my physique, to construct a story.
And so despite the fact that Derek greatly exaggerated the decline in muscle that Connor possessed in those 2 years, he's not upset about it. He states Derek simply was giving the public what they want. People cheer for people who are on top to go down. It makes them feel better, which essentially is a major problem in society. But the truth really is that he never was in fact a fake natty. And if you look at the photos Derek presented from Connor from 2016 to 2018, you're thinking, yeah, it does look like he lost a lot of muscle. And isn't that ironic that Derek, since this time, has not done just one, but 2 videos describing how Gordon Ryan could have lost a ton of muscle and regained it without actually being on performance-enhancing steroids. Derek goes on in his videos to explain that the guy got sick, he couldn't eat, and without properly pumping up the camera angles, the lighting, and so on, that you can actually make yourself look like you lost a lot of muscle, that you just went off steroids when you actually didn't.
Derek said that my physique declined at an unprecedented rate in just 4 to 6 months.
And so do you really think that this is losing muscle at an unprecedented rate? Let's say he did lose 10 or 15 pounds of muscle in 2 years. Is that unprecedented? Has no one ever lost 10 to 15 pounds of muscle in 2 years? And so consider the fact that Brownie's friend lost 22 pounds of muscle in 100 days. Just from tearing his bicep. And so imagine you're training harder than last time your entire life, you're 100% natural, and you suddenly lose 22 pounds in 100 days. That is a lot. I didn't say 2 years, 100 days, a little over 3 months. But remember, Connor never actually lost all that muscle. It's simply the way the photo was taken.
The before picture was unrealistic, taken in a perfectly controlled setting with optimal lighting, optimal angles, and a pump, taken with a wide-angle lens.
And so think of it, that before angle was taken with a wide lens, basically morphing physique to look bigger than it actually was. In comparison, the after photo, not done with the best lighting, the best cameras, and so on. And so, of course, he's not going to look as big.
You can find before and after photos from the same time periods to convey an improvement in my physique over this time period.
And so Connor literally shows photos of him from 2016 where he looked better in 2016 than he did in 2018. And so because Derek chose those specific photos, it did make Connor Murphy appear to have lost a ton of muscle which was a result of anabolic steroids. But in reality, it wasn't the case. Remember, if you want to see how easily it is to distort or convince people that you put on a lot of muscle or regressed your physique, look no further than Derek's videos on Gordon Ryan. I myself have posted photos with a 15-second transformation. You see the photo on the left, photo on the right, bam! Wow, what an improvement! Yet it was just done 15 seconds apart, not even bothering to get a pump. Just by flexing versus relaxing, you can make a significant difference. And so when you're judging the physique to see how much muscle they put on, remember, it's very easy to manipulate a photo to make yourself look bigger and leaner than last time. Remember, Connor is stating he could not maintain his leanest physique year-round. It wasn't sustainable. The guy had to crash diet, his testosterone levels were lower, all to suit the ideal male physique, which was single-digit body fat and a lot of muscle. He competed in shows on stage and said it was bad for his mental health. He never felt good about himself.
So in order to cope, I made it my goal to destroy my ego and become unattached to others' opinions of me.
And so because of all the hate he was getting, people not believing he was natural, he found it much more difficult to sell programs. And so he changed his persona. And so he decided to act a little bit sus, a little bit different. He went against societal norms so that he wouldn't feel like he had to rely on his body. And what did that result? The most lucrative time of his social media career. Guy was making over $20,000 a month on OnlyFans alone. And so he states, I had absolutely no reason to lie. The more honest I was, the more things I talked about, the more freedom I could show with telling and being honest and open about everything, the better I was doing. And so why would I lie? And so Connor Murphy revealed that he in fact wasn't 100% natural his entire life, that he'd taken MK677, a growth hormone secretagogue. But Derek didn't buy it. He says, nope, this guy was saucy. I don't believe him. And so in Connor's defense, he said, well, I only said I was natural in 2016. I never said it after that. And so here lies the problem. If you ever state in a video that you are in fact natural, and that later down the line you simply don't address it, you have to assume that the people think you're still natural. You can't just make a video in 2016 and say, hey everyone, I just want on out on natural. And you in fact are. And then the next day, hop on steroids, post videos, and never talk about it again. So does that ring a bell? Christian Guzman? Remember him? He claimed to be natural way back in the day, never addressed it since then, and so the people, the fans, continued to believe he was natural. And so if you have in fact stated you're natural at some point in time and you don't want to mislead the audience, you then at some later time have to say, guess what? I'm no longer natural. I realize I said I was back then, but right now, I'm not.
And I certainly do not claim natural now. But maybe a valid criticism is that I didn't reveal this to my audience sooner.
Exactly. If you don't tell your viewers that you're no longer natural, they're going to assume that you're still natural. You state, hey, I'm natural. If you don't address it and say I'm no longer natural, it's safe to assume that everyone's going to think you're natural.
I hope that modeling naturalness versus unnaturalness as a spectrum would mitigate drug abuse by promoting a more balanced supplementation approach and discourage the all-or-nothing mentality.
And so what Connor Murphy stated is that being natural versus unnatural, it's on a spectrum, of which I have to agree. There's a big difference between blasting everything, test, tren, GH, insulin, all in very high doses, and somebody just using HRT or perhaps a low-dose SARM. In other words, one is more unnatural than the other. And so for me, to claim that you're 100% natural, you need to use no substance on WADA's banned list for competing in sports. And so, for example, creatine, you're allowed. GO2 max with the main ingredient, NMN, you're allowed. And so despite the fact that this improves your fitness, your health, your cardiovascular ability, it doesn't mitigate the fact that you're still natural. But if it was on the ban list and they didn't allow you to take it, then my opinion is you're no longer natural. But some substances are going to cause more gains than others. And so if you're on doctor-prescribed HRT, for example, Brian Johnson is on 9 milligrams of testosterone a day, total of 63 milligrams a week, and that results in his testosterone being 800 nanograms per deciliter, then to me that's a lot less unnatural than if you're blasting, testing, trend, competing in professional bodybuilding competitions.
In order to acquire my dream physique naturally, I had to engage in extreme destructive behaviors that ruined my physical and mental health.
And so Connor states when he was dieting down for competition, it destroyed his mental health, his hormones were in the tank, he didn't feel good. And so is it actually a bad thing to take certain supplements that can make you feel better if it in fact improves your mental health and your physical health, and it's approved by your doctor? And so just think of it, at his peak physique, the best he's ever looked, The result was he felt his worst. And so is it worth it? I'm telling you, it's not. You may not believe me. You may want that dream physique so bad, but you don't know the price you're going to have to pay. The price you may in fact have to pay is the development of body dysmorphia and disordered eating practices. Many people striving for single-digit body fat or that perfect physique, they suffer in silence. Nobody knows just how difficult it really is. And so please, try to maintain a healthy body fat percentage. Perhaps 15% body fat for most, a little lower, a little higher, depending on your genetics. And don't resort to using performance-enhancing drugs to get that dream physique, because remember, even if you get it, it will no longer be your dream. You will have further and further goals, and so you're always going to be chasing perfection, which is literally impossible. And so there you have it. I think Conor presents a great case. I don't think he was using steroids back in 2016 to get that physique. I believe that the photos presented made it look like he was on natty, but it was just certain camera angles, the pump, lighting, tan, and so on. And so let me know in the comment section, do you believe Conor Murphy? Do you think he's still being dishonest, or do you believe he's telling the truth? If you want GO2 Max, you can get it on my website, but remember, it's banned on Amazon, and so if you're looking for my supplements on Amazon, many of them are going to be there, but not GO2 Max, as the FDA has recently banned it. Despite the fact that NMN is perfectly legal to use in sporting competitions, you will not fail a drug test. It is not, in fact, a drug. It's found in food, similar to creatine. You just don't get it in high enough doses. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Don't forget to watch one of the bloops, and for all the stuff I got going on, including the Harder Than Last Time clothing line, use code Greg 10% off. And until next time, I am out.